It's life, sir.
Mental health, mental health and emotional pain are results of not nourishing our inner selves, our soul. When we realize that as our body, even our mind and soul needs to be empowered each day, then our paradise is here. Good evening. We at Indian Youth Congress are honored and privileged to have with us today Honorable Brahma Kumari Sister Shivani, world renowned motivational speaker, spiritual guide, who has, through her pure and vibrant work, changed lives of millions of souls by giving them and encouraging them to the path of empowerment. She will be our keynote speaker today. Thank you so much, sister, for joining us. I also extend a very warm welcome to Honorable Shri Krishna Alavaruji, Joint Secretary, Indian National Congress, and National In Charge, Indian Youth Congress. So thank you for taking out time to join the session today. The session today is to address one of the most important but less talked about topic, mental health and emotional empowerment, with special emphasis to the COVID scenario, which has not just physically, but also mentally affected millions across the globe. We also thank Anil Bhai from Brahma Kumaris, who has been a great source of support for this session. Not taking much of the time, हम सब के लिए सौभाग्य की बात है कि आज हम सब के समक्ष सिस्टर शिवानी मौजूद हैं. And I would now request Sister to please enlighten us with her keynote address, her empowering words. Sister.
Om Shanti. Namaskar. Good evening. The last 1.5 years has seen so much which we were not prepared for. Situations not our way, uncertainty, an illness which we did not know much about. And then came lockdown, and then came isolation, and then loneliness. And then, of course, the last 2 months were tougher than we had expected or were prepared for. And through all this thing, while our priority was on protecting the health of the body, one thing that has been now an issue of concern is also the health of mind. The health of mind, not only of those who were going through healing, who were in isolation, or those who were in the ICU for many, many days all alone, or for those who have lost someone. These are, of course, situations which require a lot of coping skills and for us to be able to strengthen the mind. But emotional health and mental health issues in large numbers who were only experiencing fear and anxiety because of the situation around us. Not that they were personally a part of the situation, but because they were affected by the situation of the country and the world. And so the Indian Psychiatric Association shared that in the last 1 year, there's a steep rise in mental health issues of India. So which means depression, anxiety disorders, panic attacks. These are mental health issues. Now, again, when we say mental health issues, many of us would feel that we don't have a mental health issue, which is a fact. Okay, we don't have a mental health issue. I do not have a depression, or I do not have an anxiety or panic attack. So there are 3 aspects to health. One is physical health, which is easy. We know the symptoms, we know who to ask for help, we know how to go about it. The other is mental health, which we are learning, we are seeing how to take care, and we are finding the need to talk to a therapist, to talk to a doctor. and we're taking care of that also. Now, the third one is very important, and that third one is emotional health, because that's something which is an issue of concern for all of us, the emotional health. So, emotional health, if we start taking care of our emotional health, then to a large extent, it is possible that we will not tip over to a mental health issue. So, emotional health is the coping skill of the mind to the situation around us. Now, we could also call it as emotional immunity, because this whole year we've been really working on the immunity, but we were working on the immunity of the body. So, the other thing is to work on the immunity of the mind. We could also call it emotional intelligence. We can also call it emotional quotient. So, this year has tested our emotional intelligence. And so, it's the need of the hour to now put that emotional intelligence on a priority list. And emotional intelligence would mean my coping skills with the situations around me. मन की शक्ति, सिचुएशन, लोगों का व्यवहार, वो हमेशा हमारे अनुसार नहीं होता है. Situations and people are not always our way. लेकिन हमारे मन की स्थिति, the way my mind responds and copes with the situation, is something that I need to start working on. So, simply put, how would I be able to evaluate my emotional health? How emotionally intelligent am I? In every situation throughout the day, we're not talking of COVID or lockdown, but just simple situations in the day. But those simple situations also will have scenes where people don't behave your way, or the traffic is not your way, or the weather is not your way, or your work is not going the way you wanted it to be. So सारा दिन में बहुत सारी बातें होती हैं जो हमारे अनुसार नहीं होती हैं, and लोग तो बहुत सारे हमारी तरह नहीं होते हैं. So people don't behave our way, people don't work our way. तो जब ऐसा होता है, so we have to now check our mind. Now this is where we're going to check what is my emotional quotient. If I get disturbed when situations and people are not my way, and if I believe that my mind is dependent on the situations and people, which means मैं situation पर निर्भर हूँ, या मैं व्यक्ति या व्यक्ति के व्यवहार पर निर्भर हूँ, लोग मेरे साथ कैसे होंगे, परिस्थितियां कैसी होंगी, सिचुएशंस कैसी होंगी, उस अनुसार मेरे मन की स्थिति होगी, then my emotional quotient is low. Then it's low. That means I am only reacting to the situation, to the person's behavior, and I react, and then I blame the situation and the person for how I'm feeling. तो which means अगर किसी ने कुछ हमारे अनुसार नहीं किया या गलत तरह से व्यवहार किया, तो हमें लगता है गुस्सा करना तो नॉर्मल है, तो हम गुस्सा करते हैं. हम उन सामने वाले को अपने गुस्से का जिम्मेवार भी ठहराते हैं. हम कहते हैं उनकी वजह से, मैंने थोड़ी गुस्सा किया, ये तो उनकी वजह से. So उन्होंने मुझे गुस्सा दिला दिया. So this is very low emotional quotient, where I'm not taking responsibility for my mind. I'm blaming situations and people for how I'm feeling. So then I will always be dependent on what's going on outside. And my reactions will always be based on what's going on outside. And while we were living our life like this, there came COVID. And we said fear and anxiety is normal. हमने डर और चिंता को, हताश, लो फीलिंग को हमने नॉर्मल कह दिया. कुछ दिन, कुछ महीने, लेकिन अब तो 1.5 साल होने वाला है. Almost 1.5 years saying fear and anxiety is normal. तो फिर then it becomes an emotional health issue, which has chances of tipping over to a mental health issue. So now the priority is that we make emotional health important. Important. अपने मन का ध्यान रखना और अपने शरीर का ध्यान रखना, हमें इसको प्रायोरिटी बनाना पड़ेगा. Now, how to take care of emotional health? So simple lifestyle habits by which we can start taking care of emotional health. First equation, सबसे पहले जीवन की equation याद रखनी होगी. I am the creator of my every thought, feeling, word and behavior. Which means बाहर कुछ भी हो रहा हो, यहाँ ये creation मेरी अपनी है. And I cannot blame people and say, I'm angry because of them, I'm happy because of them, I'm irritated because of them, they hurt me, they upset me. ये vocabulary खत्म होनी पड़ेगी. क्योंकि इस vocabulary से ये आंतरिक शक्ति, ये inner battery सिर्फ dip, 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 dip होने लगती है. So whatever may be the situation, I am creating the thoughts and feelings and I have to create the right thought and feeling. So which means बाहर कुछ गलत हो भी रहा हो, मुझे पहले यहाँ स्थिर रहना होगा. I will have to remain calm and stable here. The other person may not have behaved right way. I have to be respectful. I have to be calm. Why? I'm doing all this for my emotional health. For my emotional health. तो इसको एक बैटरी की तरह देखते हैं कि यहाँ पर एक बैटरी है. इसको विजुअलाइज कीजिए. एक तो इस बैटरी को सुबह सुबह चार्ज करना है. वो हम देखेंगे. How to energize yourself on a daily basis every morning. So we energize this inner battery every day. Then during the day to take care that we are not wasting our power by just reacting to situations. Conserve your emotional energy throughout the day. So if somebody doesn't do something your way, just shouting, getting irritated, using abusive language, it's depleting my battery. I have to correct them, I have to discipline them respectfully, with stability, so that I discipline them also, but I conserve my energy also. So important is how I will respond to situations throughout the day. Second is everything that I do, all the work that I do, I have to use the highest values, principles, and ethics. Values, principles, and ethics should be part of my karam. Karam is what is going to create our emotional health, and emotional health is what will create our karam. So, as is my state of mind, so will be my response. That is my karam. But if my karam is of a good quality, it will energize the soul. But if I am using unethical practices, wrong means to go ahead faster, or any manipulation, then I am depleting this battery. So I have to be very certain that I'm living my life at the highest values, principles, and ethics, which are decided by me, not by what society is saying. I will have to lay down my own benchmark because society may say normal to a lot of things. Because society is only created by us. But I have to choose what is right for me. तो वो मुझे डिसाइड करना है कि what is going to be my principles, my ethics. जितना ऊंचा लेकर जाएंगे उसको, जितना अपने values and principles और ethics को ऊंचा लेकर जाएंगे, उतना ये बैटरी और एनर्जाइज होती रहेगी. So that's very, very important because संस्कार से संसार बनता है. संस्कार से संसार बनता है. तो संस्कारों पर ध्यान रखना बहुत जरूरी है. In the last few decades, हम सिर्फ achievements पर ध्यान दे रहे हैं. How much has everyone achieved? How much did they get? What did they get? So the focus was only on what we achieved outside. What we achieved is just one part of life. But here it's going to depend on what is my sanskar, the kind of person I am. So what I have achieved is fine, but who I am is more important. Who I am, किस तरह का व्यक्ति है, कैसे संस्कार है, कैसा स्वभाव है. लेकिन as a society, we've been appreciating and acknowledging performances more and less about people. So as a society, we will need to shift to focusing on people more than performance. Success parameter for emotional health would not be based on performance. It would be based on the kind of people, the kind of person that I am. So sanskar, swabhav will be more important than role, position, name, fame. So the inner world will be more important than the outer world. That is true meaning of successful. Then let's take simple lifestyle habits. क्योंकि अब हमें इमोशनल हेल्थ की तरफ शिफ्ट करना है. ये जो नॉर्मल की लिस्ट है, जो समाज ने नॉर्मल बोला है, so stress normal is not true. It's an emotional illness. Stress is an emotional illness because it's a disturbance here. So what is normal? Calm and stability. संयम और स्थिरता. Anger, इमोशनल इलनेस, रिस्पेक्टफुल एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग, सम्मान से बात करना, अनुशासन लेकिन सम्मान के साथ, दिस इज नॉर्मल। शिकायत करते रहना, कंप्लेनिंग एंड ग्रम्बलिंग, इमोशनल इलनेस। शुक्राना, ग्रैटिट्यूड, दिस इज इमोशनल हेल्थ। निंदा, criticism, emotional illness. Appreciation, motivation, emotional health. Fear, डर, illness. Emotional health, निडर, निर्भय, विश्वास, confidence. Comparison, एक दूसरे के साथ अपनी तुलना करना, emotional illness. स्वमान, self respect, emotional health. Expectations, illness, acceptance, emotional health. बड़ी लंबी लिस्ट है। ईर्ष्या, जेलसी, इलनेस। खुश होना जब दूसरे लोग अच्छा करते हैं, हैप्पी व्हेन समबडी डज वेल हियर। एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, कंपटीशन। कंपटीशन विल नेवर मेक अस इमोशनली हेल्दी। कंपटीशन हमें हमेशा एक रेस के अंदर रखता है। कंपटीशन इज नॉट लाइफ, लाइफ इज कोऑपरेशन, शेयरिंग, केयरिंग, काइंडनेस, कोऑपरेशन। ये इमोशनल हेल्थ है, ये इस बैटरी को चार्ज करेगी। तो ये वाली जो लिस्ट है ये बैटरी को डिस्चार्ज करेगी, और ये वाली जो लिस्ट है ये बैटरी को चार्ज करेगी। सो थ्रू आउट द डे फोकस ऑन यूजिंग दिस लिस्ट इन एवरी कर्म, इन एवरी बोल, इन एवरी थॉट। यूज दिस हेल्दी इमोशंस, तो ये बैटरी अपने आप चार्ज होती रहेगी। आपका मन सुकून में रहेगा, शरीर स्वस्थ रहेगा, माइंड विल बी काम, बॉडी विल बी हेल्दी, कर्म श्रेष्ठ रहेंगे, श्रेष्ठ रहेंगे, एलिवेटेड कर्म, भाग्य सुंदर हो जाएगा, डेस्टिनी विल बी ब्यूटीफुल। सो इट्स ऑल गोइंग टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम हियर, बिकॉज संस्कार से संसार बनता है। आज जब हम अपने संसार को देखते हैं तो हम कहते हैं ये भी बदलना चाहिए, ये भी बदलना चाहिए। बहुत कुछ दिख रहा है संसार में जो बदलना चाहिए, लेकिन द चेंज कैन नॉट बी आउटसाइड। We cannot change the world by changing things outside, because the spiritual equation is very clear. संस्कार से संसार होता है, संकल्प से सृष्टि होती है। It's not सृष्टि से संकल्प, it is संकल्प से सृष्टि। Our thoughts create our world. Today we are living, our world create our thoughts. तो इक्वेशन ही गलत हो गई है ना, तो इक्वेशन गलत हो गई है तो रिजल्ट नहीं मिल रहा। So let's go back to the original equation. संकल्प से सृष्टि, our thoughts create our world. Sanskar se sansar. Who we are inside will create our outer world. And let's start prioritizing that. Now, simple lifestyle habits that we can take care on a daily basis. सबसे important चीज emotional health के लिए हमारी emotional diet होती है. Like for health of the body, we take care of our diet. Similarly, for health of the mind, we take care of our diet. Emotional diet. What is emotional diet? What we watch, what we read, what we listen. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। इसको तो घर में एक पोस्टर बना के लगा लेना चाहिए, ताकि रोज दिखे, बार बार दिखे, और हर एक को दिखे घर में, कि जो हम सुनते हैं, पढ़ते हैं, देखते हैं, वो हम बनते हैं। ये खुराक है मन की। What I watch, read, listen is who I become, which means the source of my thoughts is what I watch, read, listen, which means content consumption. So content from media, content from movies, content from TV serials, content from OTT digital platforms, content from social media handles, content from all the messages that are forwarded. That's all content. And अगर अब हम देखें तो पिछले कुछ सालों में हम कितना कंटेंट कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं सारा दिन, घंटों घंटों, hours of content consumption on a daily basis, which means हम कितना खा रहे हैं मन के लिए। और दूसरी चीज, क्वालिटी कैसी है उस कंटेंट की? What is the quality? Because that content is who we are going to become. So सबसे important चीज इस मन का ध्यान रखने के लिए, content restriction, मतलब उसका बहुत ध्यान करें। जब आप कुछ देख रहे हैं, जब आप कुछ सुन रहे हैं, you have to check, is this healthy? Is this healthy? Right, wrong, true, false, वो तो बाद में. Is it healthy for me to consume this? Only then I consume. Otherwise, delete even without looking at it. Even without looking at it. Because it's going to become my personality. Content is equal to personality, is equal to destiny. Is equal to destiny. और हम कितना कुछ कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं एक दिन के अंदर। सो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज अपने मन की स्थिति का ध्यान रखने के लिए कंटेंट, कंजम्पशन, रिस्ट्रिक्शन। कितना कंटेंट कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं और किस क्वालिटी का कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं। सो इफ द कंटेंट आई कंज्यूम हैज ईगो, लस्ट, greed, jealousy, aggression, violence, corruption, all that thing which is negative, but we don't call it negative though, we call it normal. हम कहते हैं यही तो हो रहा है समाज में, तो हम वही तो देखेंगे। लेकिन जितना हम वो देखेंगे उतना हम वो बनते जाएंगे, और जितना हम वो बनते जाएंगे उतना समाज वो बनता जाएगा। So it's going to go into a cycle. So the more I consume what I am being fed by all the platforms, it's being put across on a platter to me. So the more I consume that, the more I become that, the more I become that, the more the world is going to be that. So we will have to break that cycle. So restrict content consumption. So सबसे पहली चीज पूरे दिन के अंदर ध्यान रखना है कि हम कितना कंटेंट कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं और किस क्वालिटी का कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं। अब दूसरी चीज, थोड़े थोड़े टाइम सारा दिन के अंदर कुछ हेल्दी कंटेंट कंज्यूम किया जाए, ताकि हमारे मन की स्थिति थोड़ी हेल्दी होने लगे, क्योंकि वो खुराक है ना हमारे मन की। तो 2 टाइम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एक तो रात को सोने से पहले और दूसरा सुबह उठते ही। So 2 times are a very powerful impact on the mind, just before we go to sleep and the first thing when we wake up. अब इमोशनल हेल्थ के लिए और मेंटल हेल्थ के लिए एक बहुत पावरफुल फैक्टर है हमारा स्लीप साइकिल। हमारा स्लीप साइकिल, अब याद है कुछ साल पहले हम स्कूल में सीखते थे अर्ली टू बेड अर्ली टू राइज मेक्स अ पर्सन हेल्दी वेल्दी वाइज। अब आजकल हम वो फॉलो नहीं कर रहे, अर्ली टू बेड अर्ली टू राइज। हमें लगता है कभी भी सो सकते हैं, सो हम कभी भी सोते हैं। कोई 12 बजे सो रहा है, कोई 2 बजे सो रहा है, कोई सुबह सो रहा है 4 बजे। उसको नॉर्मल बोल दिया और उसको अपना स्लीप साइकिल बना दिया, और बच्चे तो पढ़ रात को रहे हैं और सुबह सो रहे हैं। दिस इज व्हाट इज टेकिंग अ टोल on the mind also. So there is a right time to do everything. We are going to sleep for those many hours only, but let's put those many hours at the right time in the 24-hour cycle rather than any time in the 24-hour cycle. So जैसे एक किसान बीज बोता है तो उसने तो बीज ही बोना है, लेकिन ऐसा तो नहीं वो कभी भी बो दे। कभी भी बो देगा तो उसको तो कोई रिजल्ट नहीं मिलेगा। सही समय में सही विधि से बीज बोना होता है। सिमिलरली राइट टाइम टू स्लीप एंड राइट वे टू स्लीप। So the highest energizing time in which the health of the mind and health of the body is taken care of is 10 to 2. These 4 hours is the most powerful time where we all should be asleep. कोई जगा हुआ नहीं होना चाहिए 10 से 2 के बीच। ये 4 घंटे डीप स्लीप मिलती है हमारे को। सो 10 बजे का लक्ष्य रखें, एम टू स्लीप बाय 10 o'clock. If you sleep by 10 o'clock and sleep right by 10 o'clock, which means sleep in the right manner, then on your own, in a very natural way, in a very fresh and energetic way, you will automatically wake up between 4 and 5. वो अपने आप हो जाएगा। आज दूसरे देश हमें सिखा रहे हैं कि 5 AM लीडरशिप क्लब होता है, कि लीडर्स शुड वेक अप एट 5 AM। लेकिन भारत की संस्कृति में तो ये हजारों वर्षों से है कि ब्रह्म मुहूर्त, अमृत वेला 4 और 5 के बीच होता है। ये तो हमारी संस्कृति में बहुत सालों से है। सो व्हाट डज इट मीन बाय ब्रह्म मुहूर्त, अमृत वेला? वेला जो एक अमृत की तरह है, वेला इज टाइम, ब्रह्म मुहूर्त हाईएस्ट वाइब्रेशनल टाइम। वैसे तो जीवन के सारे काम मुहूर्त निकलवा के करते हैं कि ये चीज का मुहूर्त, दुकान का मुहूर्त, ऑफिस का मुहूर्त, शादी का मुहूर्त, हर चीज का मुहूर्त, घर नया लिया उसका मुहूर्त। लेकिन हर रोज का मुहूर्त है वो सुबह का अमृत वेले का समय 4 से 5। That is the highest vibrational time. At that time, our creativity is highest, our intuition power is highest. But to use that time, we will have to first sleep right. So let's aim to sleep by 10 o'clock. And now, if I have to sleep by 10 o'clock, at least an hour or 2 hours before I sleep, I should disconnect from work communication. Very, very important to disconnect from emails, messages, phone calls of work. ताकि this mind gets time to slow down. It can't be in that hyperactive beta stage till 10 o'clock, till we are going to go to sleep. That's a prime reason why many of us are sleep deprived. We're sleep deprived. We can fall off to sleep anytime. On a flight, on a train, on a bus, people fall off to sleep even in the morning time. सुबह सुबह कैसे कोई सो सकता है? नींद की कमी. Sleep deprived हैं इसलिए. So 10 o'clock if we aim to sleep, by 8 o'clock we should disconnect from work communication. By 9 o'clock we should disconnect from all other media. Any media which again is going to stimulate my mind, like the world news or movies or anything like that. The last hour, I have to start slowing down the mind. मन को धीमी गति पर लेकर आना है आखिरी घंटे के अंदर. ये बहुत बहुत जरूरी है. तो आखिरी घंटे के अंदर कुछ म्यूजिक, कुछ अच्छी किताबें, परिवार के साथ बैठना, be with your family, listen to good music, read a good book, write something, paint something, do whatever you like. Sometimes do nothing. कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ ऐसे ही बैठे हैं सबके साथ. So very important to slow down the mind before we go to sleep. अब सोने से 15 मिनट पहले, 15 minutes before we sleep, consume pure content, which means watch, read, listen, something which is healthy for the mind. Content which has compassion, gratitude, faith, acceptance, respect, unity, that kind of content for at least 15 minutes. It's emotional diet for a healthy mind. This is spiritual study. This is where spirituality becomes a very powerful tool. It gives us good content just before we go to sleep. And then 5-10 minutes before we sleep, we surrender to God everything that happened during the day. We write out a little diary. We forgive people. We ask people for forgiveness. We give our gratitude. Keep the mind light, clean, and clear, and then go to sleep. So we need about 15-20 minutes in the night for ourselves before we go to sleep to meditate, cleanse the mind, forgive, gratitude, write it out or do it in your mind, and spiritual study for 15 minutes. इतना करके हम जब सो जाते हैं, so we get deep sleep because we cleaned the mind. We did not use technology for an hour before we go to sleep. We cleaned the mind, slowed down the mind, and we went to sleep at 10 o'clock. We will go into the delta stage immediately, which means very soon. And in the next 2 hours, we will complete our 2 delta stages, which are needed for good sleep. And then by 4 o'clock, we're going to be very fresh and energetic. You won't have to put an alarm. You will wake up on your own. And then you're awake in the Brahma Muhurat. Now, when we wake up for an hour, we don't consume content from the world for an hour when we wake up. सुबह का पहला घंटा दुनिया की बातें नहीं अपने मन पर डालना, which means उठते ही फोन नहीं देखते ऐसे. ये blotting paper बिल्कुल साफ होता है. This blotting paper is absolutely clean. What we put on it, it's going to absorb completely. So do not put the world onto your mind in the first hour of the morning. The first hour of the morning, first step is meditation. So please learn meditation. Don't think that meditation is just closing your eyes and becoming thoughtless. Meditation is not becoming thoughtless. It's not just closing your eyes. Meditation is the right way to think. Meditation is connecting to yourself, emerging your beautiful qualities, connecting to the supreme power so you can learn meditation. Brahma Kumaris have Raj Yoga meditation centers all over the country, every city, every town, even villages. So feel free to walk into any center, and the sisters and brothers are always there to teach you. And there's never ever a cost attached to it. So then we meditate in the morning for about 15-20 minutes to begin with. And again, 20 to 30 minutes healthy diet, which means read a book, watch a video, or study spiritual principles, study your religion, study divine content so that we energize this battery first thing in the morning. Then, of course, physical health, yoga, pranayam, walk, exercise, जो आपको अच्छा लगे, सूट करे. So सुबह का 1 घंटा, this 1 hour, taking care of the soul, taking care of the body, self-care time. Now we are ready for the day. Now during the day, every karam should be accurate, which means not getting angry and reacting, respectful, patience, conserving the energy, ethical, values and principles, restricting content consumption throughout the day, very, very careful what we are writing about people, how we are commenting on social media handles, the language that we use, and the energy that we create. We need to be very, very, very careful because this is what is programming our emotional health and the emotional health of society. And the last thing is the food we eat. The food we eat also has an impact on the state of our mind. So we need to be very careful. जैसा अन्न वैसा मन होता है, जैसा पानी वैसी वाणी होता है. We are what we eat. So the food we eat and the water we drink influences our mind and our body. Now what has happened is on the food that we eat, we focus more on the nutrients only. कि इसमें minerals कितने, proteins कितने, carbohydrates कितने, fat कितना, which is all important. But what is the vibration of the food we eat? Vibration is very important. So first step, experiment with a plant-based diet, which means a vegetarian diet. Animal in a slaughterhouse. हम सब video देख सकते हैं online. Animal in a slaughterhouse. What would be the state of mind? What would be the emotion of that animal? Hurt, pain, anger, fear, helplessness, then violence, then death. And then it comes on our plate and we are calling it health. Death of one cannot become health for another. It can become proteins, but it cannot become health. Death cannot become health for someone because there's no living energy in that. There's no living energy in that animal. It can be proteins. So let's experiment with a plant-based diet, a sattvic diet. It will make you feel very light, very vibrant, very energetic in the mind and in the body. And in the body. A lot of doctors now are talking how an animal-based diet is not healthy for the body. Something that we believed, oh, we are eating it for health. And they're talking that it's not healthy for the body. Diabetes, cardiac issues, certain cancers, very largely because of an animal-based diet. So it's no more good for the body also. And it's definitely not good for the mind. So experiment with the plant-based diet. Second, the kitchen where the food is being cooked should have a high vibrational energy. The person cooking the food should be very calm and stable, not stressed or angry or upset and cooking the food. That's not sattvic then. That's not sattvic food because the person is not in a good state of mind while cooking the food. While cooking the food should not be on the phone talking to people or gossiping about somebody. There should not be news or any negative words in the house playing on media while food is being cooked in the kitchen. Otherwise, the food will consume all those words. So there are three types of foods that we eat. Food that is cooked in the temples, in the gurdwara, in the masjid, in the church, food cooked in religious places, which we call prasad, langar. Food cooked at home for the love of a family, जिसको हम घर का खाना कहते हैं. And food that we buy, खाना जो हम खरीदते हैं, that food is cooked for profit. That food is cooked as business. So look at the three energies that are there in the food. This is prasad, परमात्मा की याद में बना है. This is परिवार की याद में बना है, घर का खाना. And this is पैसों की याद में बना है. Business, food for business. So food for business is fine for people who are traveling, some reason that they are having to eat out. But nowadays we sit at home and we order food from outside. So sitting at home getting food from outside, ये हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? ये हमारे मन पर असर डाल रहा है. शरीर पे तो डाल ही रहा है, लेकिन मन पर बहुत असर डाल रहा है. Because the vibration that has gone into cooking the food, it's been cooked for profit. तो जो मन बुद्धि है ना, वो पैसों से ही जुड़ती जाएगी. अगर घर का खाना खाते हैं तो मन बुद्धि परिवार से जुड़ती है. प्रसाद खाते हैं तो भगवान से जुड़ती है. और ऑर्डर करके खाते हैं तो पैसों से जुड़ती है. So we have to understand कि हमें अपने मन बुद्धि किससे जोड़नी है. So eat home cooked food as far as possible. It should always be a priority. Home cooked food. And while food is being cooked, there should be high energy words playing in the kitchen. So prayers, hymns, bhajan, mantra, whatever we like, it should play in the kitchen so that food and water gets energized. And in the house, it should be a culture. No phone, no TV while eating. No phone, no TV while eating. Distracted eating, not good for the mind, not good for the body. Mindful eating, consciously eating in silence. No arguments while eating. No business conversations while eating. No business lunches and business dinners. No. Even in your office while working, don't talk about work while eating together. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जब हम खाना खा रहे हैं तो कौन सी बातें हो रही हैं. तो खाना खाते समय either eat in silence or happy conversations. We have to be very careful about this if you really want the food to nourish your mind and your body both. So eat in silence 10 minutes or just very normal happy conversations. And just before we eat, we pause for 5 seconds. Gratitude to the supreme power, Paramatma ko shukriya, and then energize your food with your high vibrational thoughts. I am a powerful being. I'm a peaceful being. I am fearless. I'm healthy. Success is certain for me. कुछ भी ऐसे 5-6 बहुत श्रेष्ठ संकल्प फिक्स कर लीजिए और उनको सुबह सुबह करिए, फिर रात को सोने से पहले करिए और खाने से पहले जरूर करिए. कुछ ऐसे श्रेष्ठ संकल्प हमारे पास जरूर होने चाहिए जिनको हम दिन में कई बार दोहराते हैं, क्योंकि संकल्प से सिद्धि होती है. थॉट्स मैनिफेस्ट, थॉट्स बिकम आवर रियलिटी. तो कुछ एक थॉट्स सेट कर लेते हैं, स्पेशली कोविड टाइम्स के लिए ये संकल्प फिक्स करते हैं. आई एम अ पावरफुल बीइंग, मैं शक्तिशाली आत्मा हूँ. दूसरा, आई एम काम एंड स्टेबल, मैं शांत हूँ, मैं स्थिर हूँ. तीसरा, आई एम फियरलेस, मैं निर्भय हूँ, निडर हूँ. चौथा, आई एम अ गिवर, मैं सबकी सेवा करने वाला हूँ. फोर्थ, आई एम अ गिवर. फिफ्थ, माई बॉडी इज परफेक्ट एंड हेल्दी एंड विल ऑलवेज बी, मेरा शरीर स्वस्थ है, निरोगी है और हमेशा रहेगा. सिक्स्थ, परमात्मा की शक्तियों का सुरक्षा कवच मेरे चारों तरफ है. Visualize a divine light circle of protection around you. God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. Then draw that same circle of protection around your family. Visualize we are all safe and secure. Then draw that same circle of protection around your work. Create an affirmation for your work. Create an affirmation for the target that you have set in your work. And then create a sankalpa thought. Success is certain for me. And then create a divine circle of protection around the country and the world. हमारी दुनिया सुरक्षित है. तो ये 8-10 संकल्प हो गए. I am a powerful being. I am calm and stable. I am fearless. I am a giver. My body is perfect and healthy. God's divine circle of protection around me. Divine circle of protection around family, around work. Success is certain for me. For your relationships, my relationships stand on a foundation of trust and unity. We accept each other, and circle of protection around the country and the planet. 10 संकल्प अपने फिक्स कर लेते हैं. सुबह उठते ही सबसे पहले 3 बार इसी को दोहरा देते हैं. संकल्प रिकॉर्ड होने लगेंगे. Repeat at least 3 times in the morning. And you can put whatever thought you want in that. Any thought that you want to manifest. You want it to become a reality. But the thought should be, it is. I am like that. So I am, not I should become. I am. So 3 times in the morning. Then just before going to sleep, repeat it once. सोते हुए यही बोलते बोलते सो जाए. आंख बंद करें और ये बोलते बोलते मन में ये सो जाए. So these will be the last high vibrational thoughts before you sleep. Then just before every meal, खाने में ये सारे thoughts डाल दीजिए. So the khana will absorb these vibrations. They will start being on my mind. And you can also put it in your every glass of water. क्योंकि जैसा पानी वैसी वाणी. So the water absorbs vibrations. So then we will be repeating these thoughts on an average about 8 to 10 times a day. Now it sounds too much. 8-10 बार repeat करना है. तो 10 लाइनें हैं सिर्फ. 8-10 बार repeat करेंगे, यहाँ record हो जाएंगी. संकल्प से सिद्धि. अगर ये हमने 8-10 बार दिन में कर दिया, 8 to 10 times in a day, within 10 to 12 days, we're going to start feeling better, because those 8-10 thoughts are going to start becoming a reality. And content restriction and consuming positive content morning and night 15 minutes. Within 8 to 10 days, I'm going to start feeling better. My energy is going to start rising. Battery is going to get charged. And then continue on a daily basis. This is a lifestyle which we need to practice always. It doesn't have anything to do to COVID. It is something we should have always been doing for taking care of our mind, but we should definitely start from today. Thank you so much. Om Shanti. And we can take in your questions now.
Thank you, sister. That was indeed motivating, awakening. And I remember in my younger days watching Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. And your address today has indeed awakened a lot of souls who are watching this. We have received a lot of questions, and that has been motivating indeed. As you were speaking, there was a complete list of questions that was being put on to me via social media. Payal Bose from Telangana is asking, how do we as individuals normalize and popularize mental health among students and teenagers?
Most important is to be able to understand that there is difference between emotional health and mental health. So when we are talking about our thoughts and feelings, that is not a mental health issue. That's an emotional health issue. Mental health is when we want to talk about depression, anxiety disorder, OCD, ADHD, bipolar, schizophrenia. This all is illnesses. It's an health issue. So this is mental health issue. Most important is to sensitize people about mental health issues, which means we should know the symptoms of depression. So with around yourself, see that if anybody around you is feeling a little different, is not speaking the way they normally speak, which means they're becoming very quiet, they're very withdrawn, they don't feel like meeting people, they're not communicating like they normally do, they are crying very easily, or they're sleeping less, or they're sleeping too much, or they're eating less, or they're eating too much in reference to their own diet. For over 10-15 days, if this habit is continuing, then we need to see a doctor. We need to see a therapist who will just evaluate whether we need counseling, whether we need little therapy, or whether we need a little medicine. So important is that all of us should need to know the symptoms. We should see the symptoms around us. We should not have any stigma for any such symptom. It's just a little health issue like any other health issue of the body. And most important, take care of each other and connect people who need them to a therapist. The most important thing is to not to lose time. Like in any other illness, immediate health care is needed, so that a little treatment and we'll be fine very soon. And most important, take care of your emotional health so that you never need to go towards a mental health issue. So focus on emotional health also. As a student, temperaments, reactions, behaviors, vocabulary, focus on that. Addictions, even addiction, substance abuse, this also leads to mental health issues. Now, suppose I am used to a substance and then I have a low feeling, and then I take that substance even more, then that low feeling is only going to sink, and there I can tip off to a depression. Alcohol is a depressant, and yet when I'm depressed, I consume alcohol. So there it goes into a big cycle. So as children, as youth, talk about an addiction-free country. An addiction-free country, addiction in which addiction to any substance, addiction to technology, addiction to wrong content, any addiction is a depleter. So there are youth and colleges can do a lot for this, a lot.
Thank you, sister. Sister Ninad from Mumbai has put a question. Since COVID has forced us to live in a particular kind of lifestyle, including work from home, staying at home, do you think this will have long-term mental and emotional changes on us? And how should this be addressed?
Staying at home doesn't have any impact on emotional and mental health. How I'm thinking about staying at home, that will have an impact on me. So even when we were not at home and we were throughout the day at work or at college, And at that time, we used to say, I'm so stressed. I wish I could stay at home for a few days. So actually, all of us got that we were waiting for very long, to be at home with family, not having to travel, not having to go out. So staying at home cannot create any emotional and mental health issues. It's about how you are thinking while staying at home. What is the lifestyle that you have maintained while staying at home? Do you have a proper routine? Or are you sleeping anytime, waking up anytime, no routine, what you're going to do during the day, watching too much of media because you have nothing much to do right now, substance abuse, all those things we have to take care. If we are doing a lot of that staying at home, then yes, it will affect our emotional and mental health. But if we switch that to waking early, meditation, yoga, pranayam, being with family, cooking, hobby, working, sleeping early, if we do that, we're going to come out after 1 year stronger than what we were before. So it's all about how we are using this year. We can definitely come out stronger than what we were before COVID.
Thank you, sister. Sister Rahul Singh from Jaipur. In last 1 year, lakhs of families have lost their close ones, which has inflicted a great deal of trauma. How can spirituality help to accept this loss and overcome the trauma?
Spirituality helps to energize the soul. So that is first thing. The loss is a vacuum in our life. Nobody and no logic and no answers can fill that vacuum. If I've lost someone, that person is not going to be with me physically ever again. So no one can fill that vacuum. But what spirituality and meditation can do is give me the strength and keep me calm and stable to face that loss. So that's what spirituality can do. And most important is, spiritually, we understand that the person who has left, the soul has left, and the body was cremated. Where is the soul? The soul is eternal. Atma ajar amar avinashi hai. So where is the soul? The soul enters the womb of a mother to begin a new birth, a new destiny, a new life. The family who have lost that person, whatever thoughts they create, whatever feelings they have, all those vibrations reach the soul in the womb of the mother. So when we understand that spiritually, we are very careful of what we think. So we don't say things like, come back, I cannot live with you, how could you go away? We don't create those thoughts, because those thoughts radiate pain. We do not tell them, who will take care of this family? I cannot manage anything. No, we create thoughts of gratitude. Thank you so much for every moment that you were with us. Thank you for everything that you have given us. You don't worry about us. We will take care of ourselves. आप हमारी चिंता मत करना. This is the best gift you can give the soul to help them to move forward. Don't pull them back. Let them go with ease. That is what the gift that we can give to them as a family. आप हमारी चिंता मत करना. Don't worry about us. You've taught us enough for us to take care of ourselves. You start a beautiful destiny. So completely our thought process changes completely if we understand the spiritual principles of the soul moving forward. We will always miss the person, but the missing will also be with love, not with pain. So we remove the pain. We cannot remove the vacuum, but we remove the pain when we energize ourselves spiritually.
Thank you, sister. Sister Abu Bakr Junaid from Delhi puts a question: how can we manage to stay sane in today's time when there is so much flow of negative information around us from every corner?
Don't consume it. Simple. बहुत simple होता है. It's like आप कहीं खाना खाने जा रहे हैं, you go for a meal. Somebody can serve 20 dishes over there, but you will choose na what you want to eat. You can't say, oh, they've served 20 things, so I have to eat everything. Suppose you're not eating fried, you're not eating sweet, you're not eating gluten, whatever you have decided, and all those things are on the table. You won't eat. You'll just say, no, this is not good for my health. It's not right or wrong. It's just that I don't eat it. It's my personal choice. Everybody else can have it. So we are so strict about our diet. Similarly, we have to be equally strict, or probably even more strict, about our emotional diet information. People can send it onto our phones. People can show it on 24/7 news channel. People can put it on digital platforms. but nobody can get me to see it. I have to choose what to watch, what to consume, what to read, what to listen. Completely our choice. So never blame the world for it. Take responsibility and restrict content consumption.
Thank you, sister. And before taking the next question, I'll take the privilege of asking a question to you in same regard. We, in particular to our profession, we are in politics, and it becomes necessary for us to consume every information that is flowing around us. And until we do not do that, we are not able to fulfill our responsibilities. For instance, I being the national spokesperson for Youth Congress, it is necessary for me to know every negative and every positive of every aspect to be able to deliver and discharge my duties. What would be your guidance for people in our profession?
Probably one of the most important professions of the country, and a profession towards whom the whole country is looking up to. It's like the parent of a family. It's like a head of an organization. Similarly, leaders who are going to take care of the country need to remember that their role is not just to see what's happening and to counter it. That's really not the way to just lead people, to empower people, to energize people. Yes, you have to keep a track of what's happening. Yes, you have to look for solutions to what is happening. But there can be a big change in the vibration and the energy by which it is done. By which it is done. And this is not about politics, it's about everything. Somewhere our way of reacting to what is happening is more about criticism, putting other people down, condemning other people. Yes, if someone has done something wrong, we have to speak about it. But the language that I use, the method that I use, the way that I use, and most important, put across a solution. So if I have made a mistake, it would be nice if 10 people send me a solution that you could have done this. But the energy, the vibration, it's creating the energy of the country. So isliye, as leaders of professions like sensitive like this, all the more important to keep your mind very calm and positive. All the more, because your vibration is not just your vibration is influencing the vibration of the country. Moral responsibility becomes very high. So we don't consume what's happening, we consume that which will change what's happening. So we just need to become change makers, and we need to remember that the energy of the country will create the destiny of the country. So, what's the vibration of the country? And our responsibility is to take the vibration higher. It's only when we take the vibration, it's like a vibration of the house. हमारे घर में 4 लोग रह रहे हैं. अगर हर एक दूसरे की निंदा करता रहेगा, एक दूसरे को नीचे खींचता रहेगा, एक दूसरे की गलतियां नहीं, उस घर में तो रहना मुश्किल हो जाएगा ना फिर. तो घर में भी तो सब अलग अलग होते हैं, हर एक का टेम्परामेंट अलग अलग होता है, लेकिन एक दूसरे को सहयोग देते हैं, एक दूसरे की गलती भी निकालते हैं, उसकी सोल्यूशन भी देते हैं. लेकिन अगर सारा दिन एक दूसरे की निंदा करते रहेंगे, वो घर में रहेंगे कैसे लोग? Similarly, the country is our home, and all of us are family members. So the benefit is in raising the vibration of the country. So it's a very powerful role to play.
Thank you so much, sister. Indeed, really, really enlightening. The last question for you in this session today is from Asim ul Haq, who is from Ladakh. And he says students, especially school going children, are facing a never before scenario. They aren't able to go out and meet their peers. They are not able to go out and play sports. And the lockdown has somehow affected the early years of their growth, which play a larger role in what they become in future. Your advice for their parents and as well as the students?
Students, children's, they have very high coping skills. हमें इतनी चिंता नहीं करनी चाहिए बच्चों की. In fact, this year has built up their resilience power. You know, they have had to practically face a situation which was a crisis. When someone faces a crisis, when someone goes through scenes which were not their normal life, this actually strengthens our emotional health. This actually builds up our coping skills, which would probably never get built in a very pampered, protected life. You know, जब सब कुछ हमारे अनुसार हो रहा है, सब कुछ ठीक हो रहा है, तो हमें कुछ यहाँ करना ही नहीं पड़ता है. So this year has been actually beneficial for them because they have to change so much. They have to learn resilience. They learned self-discipline. They learned how to connect only online. Nothing that was right for them. Nothing was comfortable for them, but they are managing. This is what is teaching them to manage the challenges of life at a very young age. So these children are only going to come out emotionally stronger because they have faced almost 2 years they will face, which is not their way because they're still not going to go to school in the next couple of months. So this is a huge achievement for them. Now, moral responsibilities of parents. कि वो पेरेंट्स ने घर की एनर्जी कैसे बना के रखी हुई है. If the parents are very stressed, very anxious, very fearful, then that vibration affects the children. Same like I said, your role as a profession, as a politician, parents' energy at home affects children. नहीं तो बच्चों को किसी बात की चिंता और डर इतनी नहीं लगती है, लेकिन वो पेरेंट्स डर और चिंता अगर क्रिएट करते हैं और पैनिक क्रिएट करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं करो कोविड हो जाएगा, वैसा नहीं करो कोविड हो जाएगा, हाथ धो कोविड हो जाएगा, वो दिन में 10 बार बोल देते हैं कोविड हो जाएगा, कोविड हो जाएगा. That creates the panic at home. So if parents keep it calm and stable, if parents follow the COVID protocol that's needed, follow it as a discipline and not just because somebody will fine me if a policeman sees me, children are learning the ways of living life. These are very powerful times for children to learn the ways of living life. And most important, if parents are meditating and doing yoga daily, children can join them. बच्चे भी करें रोज सुबह उनके साथ, इकट्ठे मिलकर योगा कीजिए, इकट्ठे मिलकर मेडिटेशन कीजिए, इकट्ठे मिलकर वेजिटेरियन डाइट खाना शुरू कीजिए और इकट्ठे मिलकर समय पर सोइए और समय पर उठिए. So it's a good time to set our lifestyle right, even for the children.
Thank you, sister. It was significantly inspiring to listen to you. And I'm sure that everyone who joined us in this live session will be highly benefited towards our own spiritual growth and mental stability. I would now request our Honorable Joint Secretary of Indian National Congress, National in Charge of Indian Youth Congress, Shri Krishna Alavaruji, to deliver the concluding address for today's session. Sir.
Thank you, Gautam. Sister Shivani, thank you so much for giving your time, sharing your thoughts, your knowledge, your energy, your vibrations. Thank you for breaking down things into simple, understandable, doable thoughts, suggestions, actions. I think all of us will benefit, have benefited from what you have said and from what choices we will make during the call and after. I think simple things like the content we consume, the thoughts that we think, the choices that we make will make a difference to whether we emerge from the COVID crisis or COVID times as stronger, more positive, more compassionate, more healthy individuals. And this session, I'm sure, will help all of us in improving our lives. Thank you also for sharing the fact that we as people, as citizens, potentially politicians and leaders, have a greater responsibility because what we think, who we become, probably influences, impacts the lives of many more people. Thank you for pointing out that we have the ability, the option, the choice to either make more positive vibrations, spread more positive energies, or the other way around. Finally, I'd really like to thank all the participants for the time that they have given, for the thoughts that they have put, for the questions that they have asked, I'm sure that your energy, your thoughts, your vibrations have made this a more positive session. Thanking you, each one of you. And lastly, I'd really like to thank Gautam and his team for putting together such an unusual but important session, not just for people in the Youth Congress, but for everyone who is going through the COVID times. Thank you, Sister Shivani. Thank you, Gautam. Thank you, everyone. It's been my pleasure and privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Om Shanti.